Hey everybody, welcome back to the wood shop. Today we're going to be making a simple little project. It's something we've needed here in the shop for quite some time.
We are going to be making a coat rack so we can put our coats up when we come in. Right now we're just slinging them wherever, on top of saw benches and the router table, just wherever we can throw them really. So we need a coat rack in the worst way, and why not make it, right? So we have a piece of fence picket left over from our wooden gift box decorations. And then we picked up these little clamps from our local department store. We want this coat rack to represent the shop, kind of tie into all of our tools, and be just something fun and whimsical when we come through the door. All right, the first thing we're going to do is give this board a cut on the miter saw. We have this marked at 2 feet, so we'll go ahead and get this cut and move on to the next step.
Alright, now I'm going to use the table saw to fancy this up just a little bit. I'm going to run a dado all the way around this that's about 1/4 of an inch deep, just one blade width. Also, I'm going to bevel off all the way around this at 45 degrees. The next thing we've got to do before we sand this is to drill some pilot holes and countersinks on a 16-inch center. That way we can get this hung in the studs.
All right, it is time for my not so favorite part. We're gonna sand this down. It is a fence picket, so it's a little bit rough. So I've just got some, I think 80 grit on here right now. I'll give it a nice sanding, and then to smooth it up, we will use some 120. So let's get this done. All right, moving right along, we are ready to stain this board. We are going to put some finish on it before we attach the clamps. We have here, this is an oil-based finish in true black. And the reason we're gonna do this in black is because we had a recent order for a stove cover, and the customer wanted it to be in black. So we said, hey, let's put some of that on our coat rack. So we're going to do that now. I do have some gloves here because I can imagine that if I got black stain, especially oil stain all over my hands, that would be quite a mess. So let me get these on and we'll get to work. We have given our board time to dry and let our stain set up. I love this black stain. It is so pretty. We can still see the grain coming through on the board, but it just, I think it looks kind of elegant, which is kind of funny for the shop. But we wanted to fill in these dados that Bryan cut out earlier. But once we got to this point in the project, we really love the contrast of these pine-colored lines framing the rest of the board. So we're just going to leave it as is.
Now the next thing we're going to do is put on a coat or two of this polyurethane spray by Minwax. It's a clear satin finish. It'll help protect this and maybe give it a little bit of a shine. Okay, now we're going to attach our hooks to our coat rack, which happen to be squeeze clamps. We'll start with one right in the middle at 12 inches. Well, there you have it. It's a nice woodshop, workshop coat rack. You can customize it however you want. Put some profiles around it, whatever you want to do. If you want to hang more coats, use a bigger piece of wood.
Exactly. We actually have, these are little mini squeeze clamps that you can find in the tool section of your store. Just cost us about a couple of dollars. They came in a pack of 12, so if you've got a pretty large family or you have guests on a regular basis, you know, you could just fill it up, get you a longer board, and put as many clamps on there as your heart desires. You would probably want to put a couple extra pilot holes for hanging the board though, so keep that in mind.
And now for the big test.
So you can either hang by using the clamps and actually grabbing the coat, so you could do that. Or if you had like maybe a heavier coat, you could just hang it over like that.
Right.
Works great.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay up to date on all of our content. You can also check us out at Facebook or at woodsongsbyrussell.com.
Thanks again for joining us today. Happy woodworking!